This challenge video is going to be a little different and consists of several small tasks to help you really practice creating and using Lambda expressions. I'll assign a task for you to try on your own, and then we will solve it together. Then I'll present the next one, and so on. Challenge number 1. Write the following anonymous class that you can see on screen as a Lambda expression. Try to do it manually on your own, rather than relying on IntelliJ's tools to do it for you. This will help you understand Lambdas better. Try that out, and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. I've created a new project called Mini Lambda Challenges. I've included the code from a couple of the mini challenge slides in this class. This is the anonymous class we want to change to a Lambda. Hopefully you created this Lambda manually. I'll do that now. Consumer type string, print words Lambda equals sentence, arrow and curly braces, and a semicolon. I'm starting out nearly the same way as the anonymous class by declaring a consumer with a type argument of string. Next, we'll copy the code in the accept method above into this Lambda expression. And that's it. This is a multi-line Lambda with opening and closing curly braces and semicolons terminating the code. Multi-line Lambdas look a lot more like methods, so in some ways they're a little easier to understand. Let's execute both of these. I'll first execute the accept method on the printwords variable, which is the anonymous class. I'll pass a string with the text. Let's split this up into an array. Then I'll do the same on the printwords Lambda variable, calling accept, and passing the same string. I'll run this so we can check they both work the same. You can see the words printed on each line in both cases. I want to use another consumer Lambda to make this code a bit more concise. I'll create another Lambda expression by copying printwords Lambda and pasting it at the end of the main method. I'll change the name to printwords for each. Instead of an enhanced for loop, I'm going to use the for each method on list. Do you remember how to do that? First, I'll remove the for loop. Now I'll add the code to call for each on a list backed by parts via a call to arrays.asList, which is past the parts array. Here, my Lambda expression code in the for each method is itself now also using a Lambda expression, another consumer, passed to the for each method. I'll call the accept method on this new Lambda with the same sentence as before. I'll run this now. And as you can see, that generates the same output. I'll go one better. I'll copy the variable printwords for each and its corresponding code, including the statement below it, so lines 31 through 36, and paste it as the last statements in my main method. I'll rename it to printwords concise and change the last statement also. I'll remove the two statements in the code block of the Lambda and replace that with a single line of code. Lambda expressions are usually best when the code is concise, so I'll make this a single line Lambda now. Arrays.asList, passing that sentence dot split, then chaining for each to that, and the Lambda expression to print a string on each line. Since it's a single line Lambda, I don't need curly braces. Later, I'll show you how to make this even more concise when I cover method references. This code works the same as all the previous examples. You didn't have to keep reducing your code like this, but I wanted to give you a couple of extra ideas. Alright, so let's move on to the next challenge. Mini challenge 2. Write the following method as a Lambda expression. In other words, create a variable using a type that makes sense for this method. Don't worry about executing it though, try that out and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Alright, so how did you go with this challenge? First, do you know what type of interface will be the target for this method? The method has to take a string and return a string. You could do this with a function with both type arguments as strings, or maybe you used a unary operator with a single string type argument. Both would work because they take a string and return a string, but I'm going to go with the function here and two strings. I'll call it every second char, assigned to source followed by an arrow. That's my variable and I'm assigning it a Lambda expression with a code block. Next I want to copy and paste the code from the method I already had in this project, which was the method I showed you on the slide. And that's it. I now have a lambda expression that can replace that method. Alternately, I can swap out function, declared with 2 string type arguments, to unary operator with a type argument of string. Let me do that. Remember that a unary operator is just a special type of function, where all type arguments are the same reference type, string in this case. Alright, so that's challenge 2 completed. Let's move on now to the next challenge. This is mini challenge 3. The lambda expression we created in challenge 2 doesn't do anything right now. I want you to write the code to execute this lambda expression's functional method using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 as the argument to that method and print the result out. Try that out and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Alright, so how'd you do? Did you run it, passing it that number? How do we actually execute the function that we've created on line 45? Let me show you how I'd do it. First, I'm going to add a println statement. In that, I'm going to call the apply method on my unary operator every second char and pass that a string that has the digits 1 through 9 plus 0 in it. Do you remember how you can figure out what method to call? Don't forget that useful gutter icon in IntelliJ if you forget the name of each interface's functional method. Clicking on that, you can see that it shows me the apply method that takes one argument and returns some result. And if I run that, you can now see the output, in this case 24680. Alright, so hopefully that was an easy one for you. Now let's move on to the next challenge. Alrighty, challenge number 4. Instead of executing this function directly like the one that you just created, suppose we want to pass it to a method. Your task is to write another method on your class called every second character. This method should accept a function or unary operator as a parameter, as well as a second parameter that lets us pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. In other words, don't hard code that string in your method code. The method code should execute the functional method on the first argument, passing it the value of the string passed from the enclosing method. It should return the result of the call to the functional method. Alright, so that's challenge number 4. Go ahead and try that out, and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Alright, so let's go ahead now and write that method together. I'll make it public and static and return a string, and its name is every second character. My arguments are a functional interface, so I'll put function with 2 string type arguments, and that parameter is going to just be called func, and the second parameter is a string source. This method will return the result of calling apply on the first method argument, passing it the second method argument, source. You can see that I'm setting up the first method parameter to take a function, specifically typed to 2 strings. Inside this method, I'm calling the apply method, passing it the string we want to process, in this case source, which I'm using instead of hard coding that value. I think a really good question some of you might be asking at this point is, why are we doing this? We can simply call the apply method after the declaration of the function lambda expression in the main method, as we've done already. First, it's important to understand how to 1. Declare lambda variables or pass lambdas directly to methods that are targets. I show 2 examples here. On the flip side, you'll want to understand when and how to 2. Create methods that can be targets for lambda expressions. In this challenge, I'm asking you to think about this second objective, creating a method that's a target for a lambda. I can pass any function to this method, which could do anything to a string, and pass it back. When designing your code, you'll sometimes want to consider writing a method that can be a target for a lambda expression, like this one. This allows your code to be highly extensible to clients and support unknown future customizations. I've introduced you to methods like forEach, remove if, and replace all on list that give you a lot of flexibility working with your own lists because they're designed this way. Alright, so that's challenge 4 completed. This is mini challenge 5. Call the method you created from challenge 4, passing the lambda variable we created earlier, and the string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, then print the result returned from the method. Okay, go ahead and try that out, and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Alright, so let's go ahead and call that method that took a lambda function as an argument and print out the result in the main method. You probably figured that out. I'll create a local variable called result of type string and assign to it the result of calling my new method every second character. I'm going to pass it the lambda local variable every second char, and then the string from before the digits 1 through 9 and a 0. I'll print what comes back. Running this now. You can see the same result I got previously, 24680. Alright, so let's move on to the next challenge. This is challenge number 6. Write a lambda expression that is declared with the supplier interface. This lambda should return the string I love Java and assign it to a variable called I love Java. Go ahead and try out challenge number 6 and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Okay, so let's go and try this out. I need to write a lambda expression that has the reference type of the Java supplier interface, supplier, which will have a string type, and my variable that I'll call I love Java. I'll assign that a lambda, and remember, a supplier doesn't have any arguments, so just parentheses to the left of the arrow. On the right I can have any kind of string expression, but the challenge was to make it the text I love Java. Since the lambda body here is a single statement, we don't have to include the return keyword because it's implied. But if I wanted to include it for clarity, I could change this slightly to do that. Let me create an I love Java 2 variable and show you that, which has a code block and a return statement. Again, when you use a return statement, you have to use curly braces to start a code block, then we also have to include the semicolon at the end of each statement within the body. We still need a semicolon at the end of the code block after the closing curly brace to complete the lambda expression assignment statement. Even though I have a code block defined, you can see I still have it all in a single one-line statement. Remember that extra lines are really just optional, recommended for readability. Usually, I'd discourage you from writing an entire code block on a single line, but for lambda expressions, sometimes being concise might actually make it more readable. That was challenge 6, so I have one more mini challenge for you in this video, challenge number 7. As with the function example, the supplier lambda won't do anything until we use it. Remember, lambdas represent deferred execution of snippets of code. Use this supplier to assign a string, I love Java, to a variable called supplier result. Print that variable to the console. That's your challenge. Try that out, and I'll see you when you get back. Pause the video now. Did you figure that out, and were you able to run and print the result of that lambda expression? I will just call println, passing it I love Java.get. I will just run that to make sure it works. And it worked. For good measure, I'll copy and paste that last line and change I love Java to I love Java 2 there, running that. I get the second statement from my second string supplier, I love Java printed again. Okay, that's it for the mini challenges. You should now hopefully be more comfortable with creating lambda expression variables, passing them to methods and writing methods that could be targets for them. In the next video, I want you to put this all together for a bigger, more independent challenge. I'll see you in the next video, which I think you'll have some fun with.